Welcome to the Lawndale Guitar Show, the show that's everything guitars and the people that play it. For tonight's episode, we have a local guitarist, Stephen Suarez. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for
coming in. And Stephen, you're going to show us some of your playing and some of the guitars that you brought in for today's episode. What is that you're holding right now?
Right now I have an Ibanez, and it's just something I picked up like 5-6 years ago, and it works for me. It's not the greatest guitar, but it just works for me. Because before this, I had a Brownsville, and it was all broken up, and it would go out of tune every time. But having this makes me appreciate just having something that works.
So it gives you the tone and the sound.
Yeah, there's no problem with the tone or anything. Mm-hmm. It's actually a pretty good guitar, even if it is just an Ibanez.
You got the double humbuckers on.
Yeah. It's left-handed, by the way.
Yeah, I noticed. And you brought in some others as well. So you are a left-handed guitar player.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a little difficult finding left-handed guitars?
Exactly, yeah. If you go to any guitar center, Sam Ash, pawn shops, there's very few left-handed guitars, so I don't have a variety to choose from, but this works though, like I said.
Great. Now, have you ever tried playing a right-handed, like of course Jimi Hendrix did?
Yeah.
Here on our display,
yeah,
he
I've tried it
over.
before, and makes you feel like Jimmy. Only thing is reaching these frets.
That's right. The cutaway here is
on this,
for this design. So if you're doing it over here, you're kind of cramped.
Exactly. So it could be difficult, but it's always fun to do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now, have you done any sort of modifications to it? Or is it pretty stock?
No, it's just really just how I bought it. I haven't really done anything to it.
Haven't changed the action, it's just the way it came?
No, it's pretty much the same. I mean, for 5-6 years, yeah.
What kind of strings are you running? Normal gauge, 9s, or heavier or lighter?
Yeah, I like to use sometimes I do like to use super slinky because it's easy to bend on, especially if you use the higher frets. But you can always get a better tone if the thicker it is, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's what sometimes I go back and forth. It depends. But right now I'm using regular. Yeah. Some of them may be regular. Some of them might be super slinky because I don't change them all at once. It's just whenever one breaks, you just switch them. But either one works.
Now some players will, between shows or frequently change their strings. Do you typically do that?
No,
kind of gets costly after a while to do it,
it would be. But I don't perform too much, so usually if I'm just practicing by myself, it's fine whatever strings on.
Now I'm seeing that you're played straight into the amp. Do you ever use any effects pedals or anything?
Sometimes I do have a distortion pedal. I don't really use it because most of the time I do play electric, so I don't need to switch from a clean sound without the distortion. But I do have a wah pedal that I'll use, but for the most part, it's a humble, just the guitar and the amp.
Yeah.
So.
Now you said you mostly play electric. Do you play acoustic as well?
Yes, I do, actually. I like flamenco, I like some classical. I don't play it too well, I can't read or anything, but like, even if it's just playing like chords for like folk songs or something, it's always fun.
And tell us, who are some of your guitar player influences?
Well, I mainly play like classic rock, so I mean, really, I'm like a huge fan of all the prominent guitar players of like the late 60s, early 70s, because it was like an exciting time for like guitar. But even like with Van Halen, I like doing that. And then of course the next phase, like the neoclassical, that's always cool. So the whole rock genre, and as it like progressed, I kind of go along with all of it. I like guitar players of all.
Now, if somebody asked you what was your top 3 favorites, would you have
I mean, that's hard to choose from because there's so many, but I like Malmsteen. I like what he did. I like Marty Friedman. He has like an exotic way of playing. And I like Brian May. He's my favorite guitar player. Well, from my favorite band. So I really like his...
Great tone there.
Yeah. And his playing, it can get like Marty Friedman's kind of exotic, a weird, just different... like the Eastern style, Japanese,
different scales,
and different,
blues
it's kind of like,
scales
though I do love the blues scales and pentatonic. I always go back to that too. Yeah.
Now you have with you a couple other guitars here on stands. You want to talk about those?
Yeah, these are the ones I use like at my house because two of my other brothers play left-handed, so we all use the same guitar. So we always share, and this is the Fender Stratocaster, left-handed. Though it's not flipped like Hendrix, but and I like using it. It has 21 frets though, so. But this one is the Epiphone, and it's mainly I guess play for like Beatles songs, and it's like one, and it's fun to play for like chords and stuff like that. But these two for like soloing.
Now I notice on the bridge that can be played with a tremolo arm, but it's not on there.
Oh,
Does
yeah,
he-
yeah.
Does he use that at all, or you
Yeah,
use that?
once in a while I can take it off, but this one's actually stuck on. But I use it all the time as well, so it works. But for this one, not really. This one's just for chords and stuff,
Right.
not so much for soloing.
Or rhythm.
Yeah.
Now you said Beatles. Do you play any Beatles music
Yes,
yourself?
I love the Beatles. My
Wow.
family grew up listening to the Beatles and stuff, and that's one of the first like influences, I guess, as a musician or guitar player. And use this guitar for all that.
So have you ever created any sort of bands with your brothers that you would do
Well,
shows?
We've like jammed before, but like as far as the band, not really. But like we've played together, like in high school and stuff, and talent shows and at home. So it's always fun.
So do you play with people now? Do you do any?
Yeah, here and there. Like you can, there's people everywhere, all over. People my age, older, you can jam with, and it's just backyard shows. Those are always fun. Those gigs, stuff. So yeah.
Friends in the South Bay?
Yeah,
that's what
pretty
you do?
much the South Bay. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So how many years in total now have you been playing?
I've had this guitar for 6 years, but I was playing about 2 years before, so probably about 7 or 8. Yeah, because I started like in middle school when I was like probably 13.
All right.
And right now I'm 20, so probably about 7 years. Yeah.
So you have nowhere to go but up.
Yeah,
Keep learning,
I guess.
and studying more, and
Yeah.
Do you do any writing of music? Do you do any original songs?
I like to record myself. Like now you can use your phone to record, so I do that a lot and stuff like that. And it's easier now with technology.
That's
and
true.
all.
That's true.
You can record yourself.
It's a good hobby to have.
Yeah.
Great. Well, why don't you do us a little demonstration on what that sounds like?
Okay.
Maybe just do a little riffing or something.
Yeah, I usually use kind of a lot of distortion because I do like to play hard rock. So like I could play some riffs.
Wow, a lot of gain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And I noticed you got a little bit of reverb thrown in there. You said
Yes, I like to do a lot of reverb because it does make it sound fluid, especially if you play like some fast licks or something. It kind of does, but even without it though, it's kind of good not to put too much because then that would hide your, I guess, mistakes or something. So if you practice without it, then your playing would be more precise, I guess.
What about other effects? Have you ever tried anything like chorus or flanger or univibe or any of the other things that have a waver in the sound?
Not really. Really, the only difference in my sound is just this switch I have right here. I kind of like to use it as if it's like a wah pedal because if I put it up all the way, it has a more deeper, warm tone. So if I'm playing the low notes, I'll keep it down here, and if I'm bending, I'll put it up so it can like scream louder because it doesn't have a deep sound. It has a higher, for example, I'll do something like that.
Yeah, that's reminiscent. I know Eric Clapton used to say that he had the woman's sound when he would put it in the bass position on the pickup.
And that's really what people do when they use wah pedals, kind of. But I mean, you can
mimicking the voice.
Yeah, you can use it with this, and that's pretty much the only thing I change.
So that's interesting. You don't have a lot to go wrong with when you don't have a whole lot of stuff on there.
And it's easy because if I'm playing somewhere, I don't have to like bring a lot of stuff, and it's just real simple. That's all it is. It's just simple.
You're not having a lot of things to lug around.
Yeah, I mean, maybe one day, but for now, I mean, this is good enough for me. Some people like to use a lot of effects and pedals and stuff, but I just like using the guitar and amp. That's what I'm used to.
That's great. That's keeping it kind of pure that way.
Yeah.
Well, you want to try a little piece that you prefer? I know you like a guitarist that I admire as well, Uli Roth.
Yes, it's a song called Sails of the Charon. It's pretty, I guess, innovative for its time. It's like a shred piece. You know the song, right?
Yeah.
And really, it's like ahead of its time, and it's one of my favorites. And it's really fast. It's arpeggios, but it's a really good song.
Yeah, it's unique. Well, I'll try not to mess up too bad. And I'll try to
Okay.
throw a little rhythm in there.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to count it or how you want to just
You could just start the
main rhythm?
Yeah.
I messed up a little bit there.
Oh yeah, yeah. But that's
I was
the
trying to
main
listen
thing
at the
of it.
same time. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's always fun to play Yuli because you never know what he's going to come up
Right.
with. He doesn't repeat his stuff. He always progresses, brings something new to his playing. And that's really what I admire in a lot of guitar players that do that.
Now, did somebody show you? Did you figure that out completely on your own?
Yes, actually. There was an instructional video he did online on YouTube that really helped. But some parts he does different live, and it's kind of hard to tell. But when you start playing him and other guitar players that are influenced by him, you kind of know what they're going to do, what's position on the neck they're playing on. And then after a while it gets easier, and then you can kind of tell what they're going to do. But it, you know, after years of playing like his songs and stuff, it kind of gets a little easier. But I'm not sure if it's perfect. I don't know. But
That's true, though. When you learn a particular guitarist, you kind of know where they're going to think about their approach and their style.
But it's kind of easier now because before, I'm sure back in the day, you didn't really have many sources except the record. You didn't have internet to show you like live performances and stuff.
I can speak firsthand of that.
Yeah.
It was sitting with an old record and a needle and trying over and over to figure
that's-
out what they're doing.
And that's all you had, unless you knew the guy.
You
but-
didn't know where the hand was. It
Yeah.
was just guessing.
But now that you have the technology like the internet and stuff, you can get, I mean, the best source you can get is a live video. You could see him play it like that, or an instructional video. So it's really easier now for.
So you would watch that, play it over and over again?
Yeah, I
and then-
watch him. You know, I mean, a lot of guitar players show how they play their solos, but sometimes you could just see from the live performances and get an idea, and it's really helpful now. Yeah.
Have you tried to figure more of his music as well, or is that?
Yeah, there's other songs like "Catch Your Train" and a lot of the Scorpions stuff. I
Right.
love the albums he did with them, but.
That's kind of unique for someone your age because that was back in my day when I was young. That was coming out in the market. Of course, they were a German band, so some of the records were imports that were coming in.
That's another thing too. It's easier to hear, you know, foreign music wherever it is.
Yeah,
you can
it's
find it on
worldwide.
YouTube,
Right.
and I'm sure back then you couldn't really. You know, you had to go to the record store and find it.
Yeah.
But now you have the internet and you can pretty much find anything. So it's.
Now, I heard you say earlier that you're also a big fan of Brian May.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
And we
I
know the
love
one
Brian
famous piece, and I know you know it, the Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
You want to do a little demo on
Sure,
that for
yeah.
us?
Okay.
Yeah, go for it. That's great. That's great.
And then there's the end part, which I really like, because it kind of follows the chords, and it's kind of like, I heard him say something like he wanted it to sound like trumpets or something, and it's really cool. It's
Wow.
yeah. It's amazing.
So if Brian can't make the tour, you're available, right?
Yeah.
Next time they
And
reunite.
he's still playing right now too.
Yeah,
It's
that's
amazing.
right. That's
But
right.
yeah, he's one of my main influences. I like what he does. He's great. You know, he could play blues and stuff like that. But in a lot of the songs, because the songwriting that Mercury did with the chords are kind of different than usual.
He's
They're kinda
playing keyboards in a
unusual,
lot of it too.
And what they were doing was kind of unusual. So Brian May somehow fit it in perfect because his guitar playing complemented it because of his, you know.
And you
he
probably read the story where
he knew
built
the
his own
chords
guitar
and
with
he
his
would-
father.
yeah,
you know.
exactly. So.
Right, so he was getting his own unique sound because he constructed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Did
And
his own
he
wiring
built
and
his own guitar and everything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, if you have the time and you have the tools in the garage, you can get
Yeah,
busy
yeah,
and make your own guitar as well.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You want to try and do a little demo on the other instruments you brought in?
All right, sounds good.
Okay, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to Lawndale Guitar Show. Stephen, now you're plugged into the Fender Strat, and of course that has single coil pickups, so it's going to be a little bit different tone and different change. You want to give us a little demo on what you can do on that, your technique?
Yeah, sure.
More blues sound in there.
Yes, yes. That's what I mainly use this for. I mean, that's pretty much, I mean, Fender Strats are good for blues, right?
A lot of things, but blues is definitely one of them, right?
But I don't know too much for the blues, but when I do like to use this guitar, and it sounds better. It sounds more natural.
Now you have the same gauge strings on this guitar as the other one?
I think they're a little thicker, especially the bottom ones. That's why it has a little
more ring to it. Yeah. Now, of course, that's set up for a left-handed guitar player, so you don't have the problem of flipping this right one over.
Yes. And, it has 21 frets, though. There. That's the thing, though. If I'm like playing something, like, I don't know, some hard rock metal, you know, you'd use the high frets. But for the blues, I think I'd stick more to, you know, pretty much from here to like the 12th, 15th fret, and I wouldn't really go up here.
Now, is this one all stock setting as well? There's been no change out on hardware or anything?
Same thing.
Just factory.
Simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of players. Everything from the tuning keys to a humbucker, and they were like, this came like that.
Oh yeah.
But
I'm sure over the years I'll find out what I want and get into it. But I'm still, you know, getting used to different guitars and stuff. Cause that's part of the reason, you know, because I'm left-handed, so I don't have too many guitars to choose from. So.
Right. So when one comes out, you want to grab it?
Yeah.
It's
pretty much
on the shelf there.
Yeah.
Well, do a little bit more on it. Let's hear a couple more notes.
Okay.
I notice you're still throwing the arpeggios in there.
Yes,
you like to do that.
Yeah. Well, arpeggios, they're pretty simple, actually. They're really just a chord broken down into notes.
That's right.
So like if I was to play you would just take the root and pretty much play the notes like a scale, basically.
That's great.
Yeah.
You ever looked at any jazz styles?
Yes, but I think that's a little
different animal.
Yeah, it's definitely a different field, and one day I probably will, because it's good for chords and stuff. It's really good if you want to.
I asked because it's such a stark contrast to the classical approach.
Yes.
Night and day.
Yeah.
Whole different scale patterns. And everything.
It's a little. Maybe you're right. It's just a different field, but
you're young enough. You can learn all this.
Yeah, I think eventually I'll try it. But for now, it's mainly blues, hard rock, neoclassical. Yeah. It's cool. It's a good mix.
Right. That's great. Now you've got the third guitar. You want to just plug in right now and see what that sounds like?
Yeah.
Just get a different sound.
Yeah, I can put like a clean tone on it, and that's mainly what
rhythm and strumming.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't look that much different for a left-handed other than the pick guard is in the reverse and it's strung differently.
Yes.
How about something in A minor?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. it's got a nice sound.
Yeah.
Great for rhythm. And
yeah. More like melodic things I like to use it for.
You can even do some jazz on that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, that's what I should get into.
It looks like it's modeled after the ES335 Gibson. So
really? Oh, okay.
Made for that.
Yeah.
Well, you want to go back to your favorite acts and
sure, yeah.
do some stuff on that?
Sure, we can give it one last jam.
Sure, okay.
Okay.
We're going to take a break for another short change out of guitars. We'll be right back. Hi, we're back with Stephen Suarez now. We're going to play a little bit more music for you. And what is this we're going to do, Stephen?
These are some chord progressions that I like to practice on. When I'm aside from the blues and stuff, I like to practice like on scales and going around and making melody. And even if you do have electric and like distortion and stuff, you can play nice melodies. And this is what I practice when I'm not playing blues and I'm trying to work on, you know, with chords and stuff. So all it is just 4 chords. It's
You giving that a name?
No, not yet. It's just fun to play over there.
Yeah, it's a nice change. Great.
Yeah. So if you want now, we could try something a little more heavier.
Sure, you name the key.
So, I guess we could just do something in E, some cool riff, just a little improvisation.
Slow you down something.
Okay. So if you want, you could start any riff. It doesn't matter.
Sure, okay.